Welcome. Doing a little old school. Martina's going to be practicing and I'm going to be teaching. We're going to do we're going to be looking at one of the yamas today. The yamas that are found in Patañjali's Yoga Sutra. And the yamas are a very simple look at behavioral actions that are an everyday occurrence from, if you pull back a little bit and look at humans from a species level, let's say, right? Not as an individual, you might not have trouble with observing the yamas. But if we look at the world around us, these are actions that are taken every day. And so we start with this kind of everyday level, and then we work at a more subtle understanding. We look at behavioral actions like causing harm or violence to other beings. We look at actions like taking what doesn't belong to us, but knowingly belongs to someone else, purposefully being untruthful, misusing or abusing our own sexual faculties or that of another. And then the one we're going to look at today, the last yama, aparigraha, one's inclination to take more than you need at the expense of others. So it's not just taking, but it's taking enough that others have less. And it's not hard to see this happening on a very grand scale when we pull back far enough. So let's chant this first. It's in the description, but it's also chapter number 2, verse number 39, I believe. Is that true? Yes. We'll start with the sound of Om together. We'll do a call and response. I'll break it down into 2 parts. Aparigraha-sthairye, aparigraha-sthairye, janma-kathanta sambodhah, janma-kathanta sambodhah, aparigraha-sthairye, aparigraha-sthairye, janma-kathanta sambodhah, janma-kathanta sambodhah. Let's try the whole thing all together one time. Aparigraha-sthairye, janma-kathanta sambodhah. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari a negation, pari, around, graha, grasping, aparigraha, not all around grasping, seeking to possess, holding, reaching, hoarding, allowing a greediness to take over. So non-possessive, non-greediness, unselfishness. Sthairye, being established in, stable, steady. When one is established in, confirmed in, aparigraha, non-greed, non-grasping, hoarding, possessing, then one has full or complete or broad sambodhah, understanding, intuition of the janma, the birth. Also, kathanta can be the knowledge, so full understanding or the knowledge whereof, the cause of, the wherefore, the wofua, yeah, wofia, of janma, of birth. And that kind of general idea does require belief in reincarnation. So the underlying philosophy that Patañjali is working with talks about birth as part of a process. You're born, you live, you die, you're born, you live, you die. So it's talking about the karmic understanding of that circular nature. So let's just leave that aside for a moment, needing to believe in reincarnation. Let's just put that aside for a moment and look at the idea of parigraha. So not aparigraha, but parigraha. This inclination or drive within many beings in this world to grasp, hold, take without any concern, short-term or long-term, for the well-being of others, for the bounty of others, to just take without concern of whether others have enough. And kind of in modern times, what this has been called is an extractive practice. So mining for metals is seen as an extractive practice. When one mines for metals, often the process, the mine itself, is a complete act of degradation. They're extracting, they're taking. The refining process causes a lot of toxic waste that is often put into the soil or into the rivers or into the streams, into the aquifers underground, without concern for those who may need that water, whether they're human beings or earthlings, within a week's time, within 100 years' time. Sometimes this toxic waste will not break down. And so the land is harmed at the expense of somebody's grasping. The digging for, refinement of, and burning of fossil fuels would be another example of an extractive practice of parigraha, of taking from the earth, polluting back out into the environment, in effect causing degradation that may last for a really long time, affect countless others, and yet it still goes on. And these extractive practices, this parigraha, is very easy to see out in the world, but it becomes more and more challenging to see us as part of extractive practices. It's not uncommon that we as yoga practitioners come to the practice space, whether it's home on our mats or in a yoga school, and we have this sense of being completely depleted. Have you ever had that, Martina? No, never. Feeling completely depleted. And I don't mean in the sense of like you did hard work that day and you had some success, you had some failure, but overall your effort was geared towards this larger vision, and even though you're tired, there is still a certain sense of like, I I did something worthwhile today. Instead, what I mean is being so completely depleted and defeated that when you come into a class, it's almost a surprise the extent to which that has happened. And the yoga practice becomes a process of replenishing, of giving back to yourself. We can become unaware that we are the object that is being extracted from throughout our day. We are this incredible storehouse of energy, a conductor of ideas, and others see us simply as a holding place of resources to be grasped for and used for the purpose of others, regardless of how it may affect us. Social media is an obvious tool of extraction, extracting our energy and our attention. Sometimes the others in our life are tools of extraction, not really caring how we feel, but pulling from us. Our job and how we make our livelihood may be another tool of extracting resources, perhaps our whole life until we retire. And then the moment we step into a yoga class, it's like we have removed ourselves from that constant process of extraction that the world, that society is enacting upon us. That grasping for our attention, for our energy, for our resources. And the practice has become one of interrupting that constant aparigraha. You could say that a modern interpretation of aparigraha is to interrupt the process of grasping for us, at us. But it may be that interrupting that process, those cycles, replenishing ourselves is not enough. It may be that interrupting these cycles of greed within ourselves and maybe not buying as many clothes, maybe not taking as much as we used to, maybe that isn't really enough. But the practice of replenishing is one that causes us to move back into the world and to challenge on a larger level the processes, the cycles of extraction, of parigraha that are causing degradation to the others around us and to the world in both the short and in the long term. So how do we not just set the intention to replenish ourselves, but in some way feel that we are actively engaged in being part of the reason why the world at large is being replenished. And each of us will find our own creative way to make that happen. Some through our jobs, we find jobs that help replenish the world. Some through relationships, parenting, teaching, but not forgetting, not becoming too relaxed, too complacent in the luxuries that we engage with that are a result of the greed of others that trickle down to us. So that's the philosophical underpinning of the Yama, and that is why we come to chant, to sing, to move, to sit in silence for some time, so that we can be replenished. Not only to break the cycles that we experience individually, but from this larger view, this human species on the planet. How can we interrupt some of those cycles? Okay, let's come forward onto our hands and knees and push back into a downward facing dog. And take a moment, you can, to explore the downward facing dog, if that's helpful for you, to walk the feet. And then eventually bringing the feet toward the hands, walking forward. Small bend in the knees, chin to the chest, and roll yourself up to stand. And come forward to the front edge of your mat. And actually, for those of you that are going to be using the playlist, make your way over to that link that is in the description and hit play. So just a little word to the wise. Today's class is going to start somewhat relaxed, but get relatively intense. So brace yourself, but also know that as we move slow, it will pick up. Is the music okay for you? Yeah. Okay. All right. Inhaling, reach the hands up, press the palms, look to the thumbs. And as you exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look forward, left foot lunge. Exhale, the knee down, toes point. Inhale, lift up onto the fingertips, lengthen the front of the body. Exhale, step back to plank pose, knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhale, release the forehead down to the floor. Inhaling, lifting up and moving back to down dog. And as you exhale, the left foot forward, right knee down, toes point. Inhale, lift up onto the fingertips, lengthen hips down. Exhaling, the right foot forward and fold over the legs. Inhaling, reaching the hands up, press the palms, look toward the thumbs. Exhale, hands to center of the chest and pause. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, look forward, right foot lunge. Exhale, knee down, toes point. Inhale, fingertips, hips descend. Exhaling, plank pose, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhaling, the forehead down to the floor. Inhale, lift up and back, down dog. Exhale, right foot forward, back knee down. Inhaling, fingertips, hips descend. Exhaling, left foot forward and fold over the legs. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, arms alongside the body. Inhaling, hook thumbs, reach up and arch back. What's wrong? Louder. Exhaling, bend the knees, fold, interlace the fingers. Inhaling, hands down, left foot lunge. Keep the knee lifted. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, come forward to plank pose. Exhaling, chaturanga dandasana. Inhaling, upward facing. Exhale back, downward facing. Inhaling, plank pose. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhaling, sliding forward. Exhaling, tuck toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. At the end of the exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, right foot forward, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees, hook thumbs, reach forward, up and arch back. Exhaling, reverse, bend, interlace, and extend. Inhale, hands down, right foot lunge. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale back, downward facing. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhale, tuck toes, down dog. At the end of that exhale, right foot steps forward. Then inhaling, left foot, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees, hook thumbs, reach forward, up and arch back. Exhaling, come to stand Tadasana. Why don't you move the mat back? Yeah, so you don't have to... Martina's trying to arrange herself around the thing instead of the shelf, instead of... Okay. Inhale, hook thumbs, reach up and arch back. Exhaling, bend the knees, fold, interlace, and extend. Inhale, hands down, left foot lunge. Exhale, the right foot back and up, open up the hip. Inhale, bend the knee, open up a little bit more. And then as you exhale, the right foot forward, in between the hands, back heel down to the floor. Inhale, lift, warrior one. Exhale, open, warrior two. Inhale, hands down, step back, plank pose. Exhaling, chaturanga dandasana. Inhaling, urdhva mukha. Exhaling, adho mukha. Inhale, plank pose. Exhaling, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhale, downward facing dog, left foot forward. Inhaling, right foot forward, lengthen, look forward. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, bend knees, hook thumbs, reach forward, up and arch back. Exhale, bend knees, fold, interlace, and extend. Inhale, hands down, right foot lunge. Exhale, the left foot back and up. As you inhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Exhale, left foot forward, back heel down. Inhale, lift, warrior one. Exhaling, open, warrior two. Inhaling, plank pose. Exhaling, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, urdhva mukha. Exhale, adho mukha. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, slide forward, don't hang around. Exhale, down dog. Right foot forward to lunge, a little bit more movement. And then on the inhale, left foot pops forward, lengthen. Exhaling, fold over the legs. Inhale, bend knees, hook thumbs, reach forward, up and arch back. Exhale, come to stand, Tadasana. Inhaling, Utkatasana. Exhale, palms down, Uttanasana. Inhale, look forward, prepare. Exhaling, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, back down dog. Inhale, right foot, warrior one. Exhale, open, warrior two. Inhale, plank pose. Exhaling, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, back down dog. Inhale, left, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, open, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, plank pose. Exhaling, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, back down dog, hold. Inhale. Exhaling 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhaling 4. Inhale, lift up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Inhale, lightly step or hop. Exhaling, fold over the legs. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, come to stand, Tadasana. I'm compelled to do many Surya Namaskars when Martina is practicing. Inhaling, Utkatasana, 36 more rounds. Exhaling, hands to the floor, Uttanasana. Inhale, look forward, prepare. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, back down dog. Inhale, right foot lunge. We're done with Surya Namaskar. Exhale, pause here. Inhale, lift the torso and the arms up. Exhaling. As you inhale, lift the back heel up away from the floor. So lift higher as you straighten the right leg, lift the back heel higher. Straighten the front leg, the right knee. Oh, exhaling. Bend the right knee, push the heel away. Inhale, straighten the right leg, lift the back heel. Exhaling, bend the right knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Last time. Inhale, straighten the leg, lift the heel, turn the hip forward. Straighten the right leg, lift the back heel, turn the hip forward. Exhale, bend the right knee, push the left heel away. Hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, step the left foot forward into a lunge. Exhale, pause. Inhale, lift the torso and the arms up. Exhaling. Inhale, straighten out the left leg, lift the back heel, turn the right hip forward. Exhale, bend the knee, push the heel away, but try to keep that right hip forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift, including the heel. Exhale, bend the knee, push the heel away. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, bend. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Step back. Either take chaturanga or downward facing dog. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhaling, Adho Mukha. Inhale, right foot forward, back heel down, warrior one. Exhale, hold here. Inhale. Exhaling one. Inhale. Exhaling two. Inhale. Exhale three. As you inhale, straighten out the right leg. Lift the back heel up away from the floor. Turn the hip forward and then grab a hold of opposite upper arms behind the head. And just notice, is the left forearm on top or the right forearm on top? And allow the left forearm to be on top. And then pull the left torso toward the front of the mat, left hip toward the front of the mat, and then bend the right knee. Inhaling, ribs in. Exhale, try to maintain that as best you can. Bring the back heel to the floor, the left heel to the floor. Inhaling. Exhaling. Can you work the hands down the upper arms, making a nest or a net for your head, allowing the head to press back against the upper arms. Continuing to bend the right knee and tilt the pelvis back. One more breath. Inhale. Exhaling. As you inhale, straighten out the right leg. Reach the arms up. Pick the back heel up as you bend the knee, hands down. Either step back into chaturanga or downward facing dog. Inhaling, upward facing. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Warrior one. Exhaling, hold. Inhale. Exhaling, one. Inhale. Exhaling, two. Inhale. Exhaling, three. As you inhale, straighten out the left leg. Lift the back heel. And then bend the knee again. Find the right forearm on top of the left as you just grab a hold of the elbows. Inhale. Exhaling, one. Inhale. Exhaling, two. Inhale. Optionally exhale, walk the hands down the upper arms, maybe finding mid upper arm or shoulders, and then pressing the head back. Bringing that right hip forward, then bring the back heel down to the floor again. Inhale. Exhale, one more breath. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale, straighten out the leg, lift the arms. Heel. Exhale, bend the knee, hands down. Step back, either chaturanga or down dog. Inhaling, upward facing. Exhale back, downward facing. 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhaling, one. Inhale. Exhaling 2, inhale. Exhaling, bend the knees, look forward. Inhale, lightly step or hop. Exhaling, fold over the legs. Inhaling, deeply bend, Utkatasana. Exhaling, come to stand, Tadasana. Hop the feet wide apart for a straddle, super wide to the right-hand side. So you're in a straddle position. And then folding forward, hands down to the floor. Walk the feet a little bit wider than they are now. And then bending the right knee deeply. Use your right hand and elbow in a way that pushes into your right leg or thigh or calf so that you're getting the knee a little bit more over the right foot. And then let's move over to the left side, bending the left knee and using the left arm in a way that allows you to push and get the knee over the foot. As you inhale, come center. Now you might find, okay, that was challenging or not challenging enough. You can bring the feet a little bit wider and then bending the right knee again. Press the upper arm to really work that leg, descend through the pelvis and the hip, left hip, and then let's go to the other side. Now let's see if we can get a little bit of momentum. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Pause. Grab a hold of the big toes. And as you exhale, bend the elbows as you bring the top of the head toward the floor. You might have noticed Martina brought her feet a little bit closer together. You can do that, particularly if your head comes to the floor very easily. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. Inhale, lengthen the arms, elbows look forward. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step or hop the feet together and come back to the front edge of the mat. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms up. Exhaling, palms to the floor, Uttanasana. Inhale, look forward, prepare. Exhaling, lightly step or jump, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, upward facing. Exhale, back, downward facing. Inhale, the right foot forward into a lunge. Exhale, the left knee down to the floor. Inhale, lift the torso and the arms up. And as you exhale the hands through prayer, twist to the right. Now you can find an arm variation that works here for you. And then lift the back knee up and away from the floor. Inhale. Exhaling 1. Inhale. Exhaling 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhaling 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. Inhaling, hands down to either side of the front foot. Exhaling, step back, lift the right leg up, bend the knee, open up the hip, bring the heel toward the buttock, and then release the foot down to the floor. Left foot forward into a lunge, right knee down. Inhale, the torso and the arms up. Exhale, the hands through prayer as you twist. Finding the arm position as you did on the other side, and then lifting the foot away. The knee away rather, and rotating. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling. Last breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling, hands down to either side of the front foot. And exhale, step back, lift the foot up, bend the knee, open up the hip. And then release the foot down to the floor. Inhaling, come forward to plank position. Exhale the knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhaling, tuck the toes, seat back, downward facing dog. Inhaling again, come forward to plank. And bring the right forearm to the floor, left forearm to the floor, and come into a forearm plank position. In forearm plank, take 3 steps back with your feet. So 1, 2, 3, and then 3 steps forward. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's start in forearm plank. So the butt is not in the sky, and the shoulders are over the elbows. This is neutral, so this is where we're going to come back to after we've taken the 3 steps back and the 3 steps forward. So 3 steps back, 1, 2, 3. So the armpits come behind the elbows, and then 1, 2, 3 forward. So we're back in a forearm plank. Then again, 3 steps back, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 back. Rounding we're in a forearm plank, back to forearm plank. That's the neutral position that we're coming back to. So the core is really working. Then bring the knees down to the floor. Take a moment to pause. And notice here on hand or elbows and knees, forearms and knees, you have 2 options to bear weight actively. The first one is try to move the knees and the knees are going to stay on the floor, elbows stay on the floor. Try to move the knees and the arms, the elbows, away from each other. So nothing actually moves, but you're pushing away from each other. Great. Now do a forearm plank position. So the knees come up away from the floor. And do that same action, but now instead of the knees, it's the feet. So the elbows and the feet, try to slide them away from each other. Nothing actually moves. And then bring the knees to the floor. That's one way to bear weight here. Now instead, I want you to try to slide the knees and the elbows toward each other. Just right now with the knees on the floor, try to slide them toward each other and really recruit the abdominal muscles here. Tilt the tailbone toward the floor so that you're rounding the lower back. Okay, and then pause. Now come into forearm plank again and try to slide the feet and the elbows toward each other. Pull the tailbone toward the heels. Stay here and reverse direction. Push the arms and the feet away from each other. Notice how much of a not core exercise that is. And then slide them toward each other. Like you're trying to make the mat short, and how strong you have to work. And maybe even you start shaking a little bit. I know I do when I do this. And then bring the knees down to the floor. Bring the hips over the knees, anahatasana. Bring the chin or forehead to the floor. So now we're lengthening that midsection abdomen that we were working, the muscles along the shoulder blades that we were working. And then slowly shift your weight forward. So lift back up to knees and forearms. And then lift the knees away from the floor. Come into, we're going to set up for Patañjali. And you can use the wall from Patañjali. Would you like to demonstrate using the wall for Patañjali? Or would you prefer to demonstrate the middle of the mat? Yogi's choice. So Martina's going to show the wall, facing the wall, but she's not going to get right up on it. She can move her mat forward so she's a little closer, whatever she likes to do. And she has the blocks in between the block in between the hands, elbows down. You can hop with whichever leg you like. Just be aware of which leg you're jumping with. And it's nice to hop here and know that the wall is behind you if you need to use it. We'll call that 3. We're going to do 7 more breaths. 3, that's 4, 5, last 2, 6, 7, all coming down, and rest by sitting back on the heels for a moment. Oh, you can stay facing the wall. Yeah. All right, Martina's going to bring her left forearm on the floor and her right palm. Actually, let's do the opposite because it will be easier for the camera. Bring your right forearm on the floor and your left palm on the floor so that the heel of the hand is in line with your right elbow. So slide, and then she's going to lift her knees up and push back into a down dog type shape with her legs and hips. But she's going to work here on the weight moving over into the right forearm, the right upper arm. And then the knees down, switch sides. And then pushing back to lift the legs up, hips up. And then releasing down. Switching sides again. And with the wall behind her, she's going to lift the knees up. And she's going to just, I find that it's a little bit easier to do the opposite leg to forearm. So I would like to hop usually with the left leg up because it allows me to shift my weight over to my right side. But you can hop whichever direction you'd like to do.
No direction.
No direction, okay. Yeah, that's why it's called yoga practice. We're just jumping. I was taking Martina's class earlier today. And the person was telling me, oh, it's so nice to see a yoga teacher use props.
That could work actually.
Because I need help. So Martina's going to prop her her left shoulder with the block. You're going to want to move your hand back from there though. Yeah. Just hopping. We don't have to hop and hold. Come down, release, and switch sides. Martina was also telling me that she really likes when she takes a class and there's something she can't do in it. So I figured, why not add that today? Maybe you enjoy that. So it's the left forearm down.
You're actually saying that you're going to teach stuff that I can't do.
Down dog legs. We still have 45 minutes left in class. And then come to lie down on your abdomen. Still facing the wall. Yeah. Arms alongside the body, setting up for Shalabhasana. Inhale, lift head, chest, and legs away from the floor. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhaling 4. Inhale. Exhaling, release down, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift to an upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, come forward to plank position. Exhaling, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhaling, release down, interlace the fingers behind the back into a fist. As you inhale, lift up and away from the floor with the head and chest. Keep the shins down or the tops of the feet down. Inhale. Exhaling 1. Inhale. Exhaling 2. Inhale. Exhaling 3. Inhale. Exhaling 4. Inhale. Exhaling, release down. 5. Hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift to an upward facing dog. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, step the right foot forward into a lunge. Exhaling, the left knee down to the floor. Inhale, bring the hands up onto the right thigh. And sneak the right foot forward a little bit more. And pressing the chest up and back, lower belly in, left hip turning toward the right. And then reach the arms up alongside the ears. And you can stay like this or grab a hold of the opposite elbows, allowing the left elbow to be on top. I find it's nice, it adds a sense of continued length on the left side of the body. And even it can be nice to get a little bit longer by lifting the left elbow. Turn the left hip forward. So you can exaggerate a little bit here, as long as it doesn't go into your lower back. And then you can stay here or release the hands, interlace them behind the back, slide the hands down toward the left thigh or toward the back of the knee. And if that's accessible to you and you want to continue, you can separate the hands, maybe searching for the floor with the fingertips on either side of the thigh or the knee. Inhaling. And then as you exhale, slowly bring the torso forward, head comes forward last, hands down to the floor, step back, tuck the left toes under, step back, down dog, lift the right leg up, bend the knee, open up the hip, bring the heel toward the buttock, and then release the foot to the floor. Stepping the left foot forward, right knee down, lift the torso and the arms up. And then eventually finding the elbows, right hip forward. And it can be nice to exaggerate here, meaning there's a little bit of a turn to the left. There's a little bit of a lengthening from the knee to the hip, from the hip to the armpit, armpit to the elbow. So you can play with that a little bit to really find, okay, where's the sensation of the length in this movement? And then slowly release the hands, interlace the fingers behind the back. Now, as you have the support of your hands, press into the front, the ball of the left foot, to tilt your pelvis back as you send the chest up and back, then the fingertips follow. And slowly hands down as you lean forward, head comes last, step back, downward facing dog. Lift the back leg up or the left leg up, open up the hip, and then release the foot down to the floor. Separate your feet wider than your mat. If there's a wall in front of you, slide your mat to the wall. And if the wall is uneven, try to get, meaning like we have two designs in our door. You want the mat in between the two designs, because that way when you're using the wall, your hands feel, it's easy to make them even on the shallow. And then lie down as close as you can to the wall, nose at the wall, forearms at the wall. Lie down on your abdomen as close to the wall as you can with your nose up the wall, forearms up the wall. So Martina can definitely get closer to the wall. And you see she's scooting, 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 scoot, 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 scooting. And nice scooter. All right. Toes pointed, tops of the feet, as particularly the pinky toe side of the foot. So there's a gentle inward rotation of the leg. Reach the right arm up the wall or door, and then the left arm up the wall or door. Think āsana here. Press into the wall to move the chest away from the wall. So lift up. Lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up. Walk the hands up a little higher. And then slowly release that pressure. Slide down. so that you're trying to get the movement in that space between the elbow and the bottom of your shoulder blade, like in anahatasana. From the ribs to the arms, this is anahatasana. Right? So you're trying to really accentuate that. Lower belly pulls in. It's not about the back. It's somewhat about the spine, but it's definitely about the upper arms and the shoulder blades. One more time. Press into the hands. Lift the head and chest up. Oops. And then as you slowly release yourself down, you're externally rotating the upper arms. You're going in this direction, so the shoulder blades spread and move down. The tailbone is moving back. And then slide the right elbow down, the left elbow down. Scoot yourself away from the wall. Make a little pillow with your hand. Turn your head to one side. Or forehead to the floor, whatever feels good to you here. You can rock the hips out if that's comfortable for you. And then lift up to a hands and knees position. Lift up to stand on the knees. Turn to face away from the wall. And you're going to gauge your distance from the wall, standing up on the knees. You're going to gauge your distance from the wall so that when you lean back and try to find the wall, standing up on your knees, not sitting on your feet. Yep. You want to just barely be able to touch the wall with the longest fingernail. You could be a little bit further away. You can touch the wall too easily. All right. Can you just show us the pelvis tilting? So that's an anterior tilt, and then go the opposite direction. That's a posterior tilt. Anterior, show the other one. That's shortening the lower back, but it makes you feel like you're back bending super intensely, and then do the opposite. So drop the tailbone down. Ribs don't have to do anything. So that's where we are for now. It's not necessarily about pushing the hips forward. It's more, I want you to think about trying to find that gentle posterior tilt. Sacrum goes down, tailbone goes down, and then inhaling, hands to the center of the chest. Oh, yep. Martina's demonstrating if you have sensitive knees, say something nice to them. We love you, it's okay. Then hands to the center of the chest. Lean back, drop the tailbone, look to the wall, then reach to the wall with your palms, fingertips. This is a great place to stay. Stay here, or on the exhale, you can bend the elbows, walk down, extend the arms, inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows, walk down, inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows, walk down, extend, inhale, and then take your time to walk back up. Take your time to walk back up, hands to the center of the chest, head lifts last, sit back on the feet. Take a gentle twist to the right. So as you might already be experiencing, this is a challenge. This is an intense one. And come back center, and let's go to the other direction. And come center. Stand up on the knees one more time. Hands to the center of the chest. Inhale. Yes, tailbone drops, but not necessarily by trying to push them forward, but by lengthening the back, engaging the front of the body. Head goes back first. Then leaning back, then hands go back. And then you find, okay, how far down do you want to go? You know the process. You go down as far as you want to go. Lower belly in, strengthen the lower back. Drop the tailbone, legs working very strongly. And when you're ready, you make your way up, sit on the heels, palms in the lap, on the thighs, whatever lets you feel grounded from that intense movement. And then lying down on your back. Top of the head against the wall. So back bending has the tendency to quicken the breath, in part because of the shape of what you're doing, right? You're putting pressure on the lungs, it's harder to expand them. You're doing something intense, you can't see where you're going necessarily. Physiologically, it triggers you in the same way that fear would trigger you, right? It's harder to catch your breath. You might not be sure of what's going on. You feel like you're in a constricted space, but there's still a lot of efforting going on. So you can trigger a certain sense of fear. So often is it the case that we grasp when we are experiencing fear. You might have felt it during the Patañjali, grasping for a safe place. And sometimes grasping for a safe place is helpful. It's what keeps us alive. The asana practice may trigger a sense of fear or challenge or difficulty so that we have the space, the evenness of breath, the metronome, even if it's not exact, the evenness of the instruction perhaps, the reminder of the intention, to not let the grasping for a safe place be fear-based. Otherwise, we might find we've taken more than we need. We've lost that harmony and exchanged a control for a give and take. The back bending is a wonderful place to remember this. So bring the hands by the ears. You can place the palms down so that the forearms are really against the wall. And then lift to the top of your head, butt up, ribs up, top of the head on the floor. Pause here. Bring the elbows as best you can over the wrist without lifting the head. Navel in, push into your feet so your chest and ribs move to the wall. And then as you lift up, send your armpits to the wall. Straighten the elbows, push your armpits to the wall. Lift the heels up away from the floor so that your butt really lifts. Push your chest toward the wall. Try to keep the hips up, but bring the heels down. You could also walk the feet. That's your prerogative. Then slowly chin away from the wall, chest, chin to chest, and come down. Bring the feet mat width apart, or even wider. Let the knees rock toward each other. Setting yourself up for round 2. With an optional variation, bring the hands in place, forearms against the wall, lifting to the top of the head. Now before you move the chest, really the lower abdomen strong. Now move the chest to the wall, but resist the back bend in the abdomen as you straighten. You can take a small step or two toward the wall. Option. Bring the right hand up to the height of the shoulder or maybe even a little higher. Or if you have a groove in the wall, you can lift to the groove and then straighten the arms. Bend the elbows, walk the hands up, straighten the arms. Inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows, walk, extend, inhale. And take your time to keep doing that until you come forward, 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 and up lightly and with control. Hands together at the center of the chest. Important that you have not moved your feet away from the wall. or closer to the wall here. You want to try to maintain that same distance. Hands together at the center of the chest. Inhale, lift sacrum down, lean back head. And then when you're ready, try to go at the last possible second. The hands go back. And then you take your time to walk down the wall, bending and extending once or twice, 3 times a yogi, whatever it is you like. Push to the wall and then release chin to chest and come down. I think technically that's 3 wheels. 1 up and 1 down. Bring the feet apart from each other, knees together, and windshield wiper the knees side to side. But it wouldn't be complete without doing one of Martina's favorite asanas. So, where your hands were against the wall, you're going to place 2 blocks. I'm going to just do this because it's not a very long class and you're watching this on replay, so you can stop and do the replay. So Martina, instead of placing her hands on the wall or on the blocks, she's going to place her hands on the floor. It's the same like setting up for a wheel. And then pressing down and inhale, lifting up. Then she's going to bring the top of the head down to the floor. Not so far away from the blocks, actually right in between the hands. Then she's going to bring her right forearm to the floor so that her elbow is pressing against the block. Her upper arm is pressing against the block. Yes. And then she's going to do the same with the other one. And she's going to interlace her fingers so that... Okay. And then she can stay here or she can optionally lift her head up away from the floor as she walks her feet away and together. And moving her chest toward the wall. Inhaling. If it's more helpful for you to have the palms down on the floor, you can do that. And then she's going to separate her feet, walk them in, press the head down, press the palms down, lift one more time up toward the wall, and then chin to the chest and come down. And then bringing the knees into the chest, give them a gentle squeeze. Whatever feels good to you, whatever variation. You can see Martina likes to cross her shins just above the ankle and then hold on to opposite ankles just below the shin. And then you can cross in the opposite direction. So opposite leg is on top. And releasing. Bring yourself up to a seated position. We're going to start with āsana. Bend the right knee into the chest. Open the knee out to the side. Actually, we're going to do parivrita. So open the hip a little bit more wide, the right knee a little bit more wide. Turn to face the right leg. Lean over toward the left arm variation of your choice. So you can hold on to a belt. You can hold on to the foot. You can hold on to the foot with both hands or one hand. But I find that after I've done some really long back bending, deep back bending, it's nice to continue with the twist and lengthening the side of the body while also shortening the front. Slowly come up and switch sides. leaning over when you're ready. When you feel like you've done an equal amount of time, both sides, you're going to come up, extend the left leg, and fold forward for Patañjali. And 3 more breaths together. And when you're done lifting up, tabletop or Purvottanasana. And when you're ready, come down. Since we have a wall, come over to the wall and bring your legs up the wall, buttocks against the wall. So you're going to scoot in as close as you can. You don't have to do anything with that, just yet. No, so stay on the mat, legs against the wall, butt against the wall. And you see that next to Martina's mat, I placed some blankets. Right? So that's what you're going to want there before you come up. And then bend the knees, press down, lift the buttocks up, and then slide the props that you have, those blankets, pillows, whatever you have, and then lie down. And this allows you to be still super close to the wall without having to roll over the blankets and do some kind of complicated gymnastics. Viparita Karani variation. So you can see that I made the blankets quite broad, and Martina has a longer waist and torso than I do. So for myself, I would make it much smaller. But for those of us that are long torsoed people, it can be nice to have the blankets broad enough that it covers left to right, but also just below the lowest ribs, so that the kidneys, the back of the body, the organs are supported. And then you can get a sense of how the abdomen softens. You can let the breathing go if you're still trying to hold and manipulate it consciously. the seat and pull the blankets out. Or if you want to roll out from there, you can also do that. But we're going to eventually make our way to a seated position. And you can use the blankets, you can use the wall behind you. We're going to take a meditation practice first before we take a Shavasana practice. So take your time to settle into the seat. And once you're there, you start to find that the mind is like a grasping machine. The thoughts come, and instead of being background noise, they are picked up and held on to without even your wanting to do so. And perhaps without language, you can understand that there is no thing to do. There is nothing to hold on to. There is no experience to grasp for. There is not even anyone to be. Gently make your way down to Shavasana. Inviting the breath deeper into the body, moving the fingers and toes. Any other movements you'd like to reawaken? Bend the knees into the chest. Rolling over to one side. And then eventually, on your way up, to sit. Aparigraha-sthairye janma-kathanta sambodhah. We may not understand reincarnation or the wherefore, the why of our birth, but we may find that reflecting on the effects of a greedy life, of a greedy way of being, of a species that takes and takes and takes and takes, we may find that reflecting upon that, we learn the obstacles that come with it. The inverse, the giving up, the replenishing instead of extracting, can bring about a potential shift in ourselves individually and collectively. It is my hope that yoga stands for those who are interested in this process. Individual and collective change. It is my hope that your time today here with us has helped replenish you, pushed you but replenished you in a way that allows you to feel confident in going back into this mechanism that wants to extract and try to disrupt some of those cycles. You can bring the hands together, kind of sealing this dedication, this remembrance with the sound of Om. Inhale. Om Shanti 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 Hare Om. Om Bolo Satguru Bhagavan Ki Jai. Thank you.